Across Europe, a promising movement is growing in agriculture. Carbon farming. Carbon farming is a set of agricultural and land management practices that aim to increase carbon storage in soils and vegetation and decrease greenhouse gas emissions from the land. It is a means to an end. It's about building a resilient, healthy future for all. As our climate changes and the demand for sustainable food systems rises, farmers are at the forefront of a movement that promises not only to reduce emissions, but to fundamentally reshape how we interact with our land. Carbon farming is a means to an end. It's about building a resilient, healthy future for all. At its heart, the approach must be about more than sequestering carbon. When treated holistically, it becomes a powerful tool for systemic change, addressing multiple environmental and economic challenges simultaneously.
One of the questions is, how do we use carbon as a tool to transform the way we produce our food?
Farmers, policymakers, and scientists all agree carbon farming should represent far more than a single metric. It's an entry point to a comprehensive approach to agriculture.
Well, what we're after is a really holistic approach that can bring us to a more sustainable way, socially sustainable, environmentally and financially sustainable way of doing agriculture and producing food.
The co-benefits of these practices are immense, touching on every aspect of a farm's ecosystem.
Biodiversity obviously is a very important one. There's questions right now about how exactly that would have to be operationalized, but otherwise there's also, of course, water is a key element. A lot of regions suffer of excess of water, others suffer of droughts. There's the water pollution as well is an aspect. So this is another element that definitely needs to be taken into account, and we need to build systems that are resilient.
We always have to tell everything around carbon farming, the co-benefits, the biodiversity, the more resilience of soils when you start storing carbon in your soils.
We should be looking beyond carbon. So there's more here. It's about ecosystem services, and we should be looking into the holistic whole thing.
Investing in carbon farming means investing in healthy soils, resilient food systems, and a more sustainable future for all. So what does this look like on the ground? Across Europe, innovative farmers and supportive organizations are already implementing incredible solutions, often driven by a crucial bottom-up approach.
We have set up since, I think, 2018, what we call the payment for ecosystem services with farmers. And it's allowing us to reward the farmers for any action taken by them to improve soil health, biodiversity, resilience to climate change, carbon removal. We also set up what we called progress groups with farmers. What is really important for us is to have a bottom-up approach with the farmers.
Farmers are not recipients of aid. They are the experts, driving innovation and sharing knowledge.
I met a lot of farmers, and it helped me to build a project and to be able, on this farm, to implement new practice that are linked with regenerative farming and also carbon farming. I think that farming now, the farms generally are becoming bigger and bigger, but I think it's also a little bit losing its fanciness in the fact that farm is fun if you are with people with who you can share your experience.
The transition always has to come from the inside. That's the biggest part from all, and they have to feel comfortable with this. The farmers are not the problems, they are the key for all.
These ground-up efforts are complemented by organizations providing crucial support and scaled solutions.
So Agrina is a Danish regenerative agriculture solution provider. So we work a lot with farmers in developing all kinds of solutions to help demonstrate and recognise the difference that they're making when they take on regenerative practices. We work all across Europe with over 20 countries and we have about 4.5 million hectares, which amounts to about 2,300 farmers that we're currently working with to try and enable and empower some of these solutions to support the movement. The farmer needs to be able to receive the majority of that value. That cannot go to somebody else.
Well, we use a lot of cover cropping. We do double cover cropping, meaning we do a first batch and then plant the second one into it. We use no-till, strip-till. We do activate the microbiome with microbes. We do use compost tea for this. We do agroforestry. The whole range, actually. Well, I think what helped me most is a lot of exchange with other farmers. I would say the network of innovators in the farming community.
I mean, every farmer has a different innovation potential and opportunity also, I would say. And it really depends on their resources, on their time, on their access to knowledge, on their capacity to induce change in their farming operation. So it's a lot of factors that play a role, and I think, yeah, what we try to work on mostly is to create an environment for farmers where they can innovate, where they have the freedom and the tools they need to innovate.
Despite the enthusiasm, transitioning to regenerative agriculture and scaling carbon farming face significant challenges, particularly around financial viability and market development. This is especially true for niche methods like polluticulture or wetland farming.
The financial viability of actually partaking in polluticulture when there is more apparent benefits to keeping your soil drained as it is now and maintaining, the business as usual approach. There is no real visual of a future in polluticulture right now. There's amazing innovation happening, but there's no actual market for it yet. And so a farmer can partake in polluticulture, but they have no way of actually seeing how they can have a future in it.
Securing long-term financing is crucial for successful landscape restoration and agricultural transformation.
In that sense, a long-term approach to financing is crucial. The financial instruments that provide support on a longer basis, which are process-based, which provide time, both in investments, but also in a working capital, are really necessary for successful restoration in any landscape that we work.
Innovative financial models are emerging to address these gaps, making the transition more accessible for farmers.
We saw the voluntary carbon market as a really great tool to bring that private sector money to those rural farmers. But there are big hurdles for smallholder farmers to participate in the voluntary carbon market. So here we stepped in as an overarching project developer. This is where Project Acorn came in. We're building a facility specifically for smallholder agroforestry finance. And that facility only has recourse on smallholder farmers' carbon sequestration, not on their agricultural commodity. And so this helps the farmer to make a transition to regenerative systems, to climate resilient systems, without risking their livelihoods.
Public funding can definitely not do the whole job, but it can help in the initial costs of setting up a project. It can, for example, take care maybe of the soil sampling cost, the analysis cost to get started, so that they take away the barrier to get involved. Whereas private funding is really needed to scale the investments in itself.
This blended approach, combined with direct support, is vital for empowering farmers.
You don't just invest in the trees. You invest in the technical assistance on the ground, you invest in the knowledge of the farmers and in their appreciation of the work they're doing by explaining to them what the benefits will be in the long term.
For carbon farming to truly scale, a clear enabling policy framework is essential. The European Commission's Carbon Removals and Carbon Farming Certification Regulation or CRCF, aims to provide that clarity, but its implementation requires careful consideration to ensure it supports the broader goals of regenerative agriculture.
The key question is how it can be best implemented in the European context to be as easy and conservative in terms of methodologies, and how to bring this all together and bring all European countries on one table.
There are a lot of different policies that have an effect on what you can do as a farmer or as someone producing biomaterials or someone managing a forest or a peatland. So with this action platform, we just want policy coherence so that everyone knows where to go and that everyone is working synergistically.
The CRCF is a significant step, designed to build trust in the carbon market.
The good thing about the CRCF is that it will provide some clarity on what is a good project and what is not a good project. It will definitely have a good influence on the market side, so companies will have more trust in investing in carbon farming because there's a clear regulation, let's say.
And we also stressed out that we believe for the small-scale examples that the CRCF will be necessary not only to scale up but also for their existence, and also for both farmers and buyers to receive some clarity on carbon farming and on the fact that also the Commission is considering it as something good, and that will hopefully create a boost for the carbon farming market.
However, experts warn against a carbon tunnel vision that could overlook the crucial co-benefits.
The main limitation at the moment is, of course, this is about carbon removal. Carbon removal is only one of the many benefits that it brings to the farmer, to the land, to the ecosystem. Improved soil health, improved water retention, biodiversity, all these things are just key for resilient food systems. We need to make sure we don't get into a carbon tunnel vision.
You see there's a need for to go beyond carbon. That's what many people are telling. But we see still there's a lack of existing methodologies that we can use for that.
And one of the main conclusions is that we need to have rules that are prescribed in the methodology, that are really clearly prescribed, that are as simple as possible, so that it's easy for the farmer, but also it's more cost effective because it takes less time to check everything.
So how do we move forward? The path to scaling regenerative agriculture through carbon farming requires a commitment to collaboration, practical learning, and a bold, holistic vision for the future.
We all faces this tension between our day-to-day work, which often is very focused, and we are all experts and we understand technicalities and details. And on the other side, we always need to be able to connect with the rest of the experts that are working on different things. And I think one of the nice activities that we can all do, that was mentioned this morning, is to go and visit a farm, because ultimately that is the place or the ecosystem we are working for.
Yeah, the main takeaway is do it together, don't hesitate, and what is really needed is farms that do it like early pioneers, where people can look it up, where people can learn how it's really working in the field and not in some experimental plots.
Ensuring farmers are central to policy discussions is non-negotiable.
Please, my message for policymakers would be, make sure you have farmers to join the discussions. And it's important we keep on having a bottom-up approach, otherwise I'm afraid we're gonna bet on the wrong horse, or we're just gonna miss the point with all this carbon farming framework.
Beyond voluntary efforts, systemic change requires a stronger push.
While voluntary action and incentive-based schemes are good and have played a role and have maybe moved the pioneers, now is really the time to go beyond that and make sure that we get everyone to move, the whole sector, because that's eventually what will have to happen. And that we cannot do without some kind of a compliance instrument, something that really makes it unavoidable to step into this transition.
Ultimately, the future of our food system depends on this transition.
Nature is an investable asset class, and that's exactly where carbon farming comes in. If you look at the value of healthy soils against a backdrop of climate change, against a growing population that needs to be fed also in the next decades, then investing in regeneration of healthy soils will be incredibly valuable in the near and long future. So investing in healthy food systems starts with investing in healthy soils.
The journey to a carbon neutral and regenerative agricultural future is complex, but filled with immense potential. From farmer-led innovations on the ground to ambitious policy frameworks, the pieces are coming together. By prioritizing the farmer, embracing holistic solutions, securing long-term financing, and fostering true collaboration, we can cultivate a resilient, sustainable, and profitable future for European agriculture. The energy and commitment are there. Now it's time to act, together.